A kettle begins to sing before sunrise. Tin clinks, small cups stacked like a quiet city. What news does a single cup carry at dawn? Welcome to Ancient Echoes. I'm Samnang Bradley, and today we're pulling a plastic stool up to a roadside tea house to listen.
Listen closely. The tea house is a kind of pre-dawn radio. From the vendor's call to the measured scrape of a spoon, the morning pours itself into conversation. As we explore, I'll offer little cultural notes, and together we'll consider what a cup can tell us about obligation, care, and memory.
In this episode, we'll start with a quick primer on common stall types and typical brews, float into a sound-rich morning vignette, then trace the social life of tea houses, matchmaking, small credit, hires, quiet caregiving. We'll hear about the makers who keep stalls running, and then cross oceans to listen for tea house echoes in the Cambodian diaspora. Finally, we'll speak plainly about consent and the right way to visit, photograph, and share these scenes.
Before we begin, a listening promise. We will treat people as people, not exhibits. We will model consent, offer payment, and avoid doing harm. If something feels private, we step back. The deeper story is about everyday care, and that means respecting boundaries.
Tea house primer. If you've never sat at one, imagine 3 common shapes: a mobile cart pushed along a street, a fixed kiosk under a corrugated roof, and the softer corners of a pagoda courtyard where elders gather. The brews vary: hot green tea for those in a rush, condensed milk tea for a sweet, muddy comfort, and ginger tea when the body needs warming.
From a cultural standpoint, each vendor has a rhythm. The kettle keeper who tends the flame, the server who balances cups, and the person who holds the ledger of small debts. The evidence shows us these roles are not just economic, they're social nodes. That's where culture lives.
Listen, the thermos opens, a metallic pour, a cooling, sibilant hiss as the steam meets a tin cup. Payment often passes hand to hand. Coins, a quick tally. Sometimes a chalk mark on a wooden board for a tab. That tab can be the difference between a neighbor getting rice this week or not. Small credit, big consequence.
Segment 2. Morning Service. A vignette. Picture dawn. A vendor sets out plastic stools, stacks cups, and lifts a battered kettle. A retired clerk arrives, hat in hand, and requests his usual, a single cup with extra condensed milk. He keeps telling the same ledger story, not to boast, but to remember the names of those who once worked the market.
The vendor, she moves fast, but with a kind of choreography. One pour into a cup, then a dab of condensed milk, a quick stir. She never wastes a motion. Serving dozens of cups from a single kettle is a practiced economy. The customers exchange tiny news: a wedding, a lost tool, a child's exam result. News travels in sips.
As the clerk sips, a young man slips a note to the vendor, a request for help finding day labor. The vendor nods, makes a face that says yes, and by 9, a voice will call across the stall, someone needed. Here you see matchmaking not of lovers alone, but of labor to need. The pattern shows us how social life and economy intertwine.
Segment 3. Social functions. Tea houses are places where matchmaking happens, sometimes for marriage, sometimes for work, sometimes for gossip that keeps markets fair. They're where small credit is extended, where neighborhood notices are posted verbally, where quiet caregiving shows up as paying someone's tab when times are tight.
Consider the cup as archive. The way someone stirs their tea, the amount of milk, whether they cradle the cup with both hands, as to speech.
A quick scene. An elder arrives, hunched, and the younger regular insists he sit. The younger man pays for both cups with a wink. Later, the elder will tell a story about his village. Youth will write it down, borrowing a phone for a moment. These transactions, coffee and memory, nicked generations.
Segment 4. Makers, menders, and supplies. The stove mender is a quiet hero. When a charcoal stove cracks, business stops. The mender arrives with wire and skill, patches the stove, and the stall is back in service. Thermos fixers do the same work, sealing leaks, replacing lids. Suppliers bring tea leaves and condensed milk on bicycles or in tuk-tuks. Seasonal lines of supply that make morning routines possible.
One vendor told me, when my thermos was broken, I lost half my morning customers. A thermos is not just a container, it's livelihood. That's why listening to repair culture is a way of listening to resilience. We must value these skills and, where appropriate, compensate them if we ask for time or images.
Segment 5. Diaspora echoes. Tea travels with people. In a Cambodian neighborhood abroad, someone will steam milk over a small gas ring, pour it into little glasses, and the remembered smell triggers home. Sometimes a caller in Phnom Penh records a dedication, sends it to a child abroad, and that recorded voice becomes ritual. I'm thinking of you. Have a cup with me.
A recorded dedication can be simple. A voice saying, "Here's your cup of tea from the old stall," and it lands with such tenderness that distance shrinks. For many in the diaspora, a teacup is a mnemonic device for home. Its tastes and sounds evoke people, markets, and seasons. That's why these small rituals are powerful.
Segment 6. Ethics, Consent, and CTA. We want listeners to engage, to share, but safely. Here are modeled permission phrases you can use. Always ask before photographing or recording. Offer to buy a drink or to compensate for time. And accept if a vendor says no.
Here are plain English phrases to say, and we'll give simple Khmer renditions you can practice. In English, may I photograph this stall briefly and credit you? I will buy a drink first. A short Khmer phrase to use, pronounced simply, Som tav rub bante, knyom chom kne trau chum rein, meaning roughly, may I take a photo briefly? I will credit you. Make sure to smile, show the intention, and offer payment up front.
If the vendor agrees and you take a photo, keep it modest. One photo or a short 10-20 second clip. Do not film private conversations. Do not crowd service, and pick non-peak times when possible. If you need to share publicly, get written permission or record verbal permission, and route submissions to the show for anonymization if necessary.
We're mindful of risks. Photographing patrons can expose vulnerable individuals. Approaching busy stalls can disrupt service. Highlighting small vendors may invite unwanted attention. So here's what we ask of listeners. Observe first. Buy a drink. Ask permission with a polite phrase. Offer a small payment if the vendor gives time. And do not post precise locations unless the vendor explicitly agrees.
If you'd like to share a photo or clip with Ancient Echoes, please send just one modest image or a 10 to 20 second clip and include your permission record. We will vet submissions, anonymize where needed, and in our show notes we'll link to vetted cooperatives and menders if you want to support craft sustainably.
Before we close, a short portrait. A stove mender crouches beside a broken ring, bending wire, humming softly. A child passes by with the thermos, and the mender nods like an old friend. There's humor in their gestures. The mender jokes he's never too old for a good repair, and the vendor hands over a cup and thanks. It's small, domestic, and profound.
The cultural significance is clear. Teahouses are living social technologies. They map obligations, memory, and care across neighborhoods and across oceans. Let's unpack that. These cups carry histories, and reading them helps us understand belonging.
Conclusion. Today we listened to the kettle's early song, traced the choreography of service, met the people who mend the everyday, and followed the cup across borders. If you walked away with one thing, let it be this. The smallest rituals often hold the most durable networks of care.
If you enjoyed this episode, please consider one modest action. Post a single permissioned photo or a 10-20-second clip. Tag Ancient Echoes and Samnang's YouTube and include a note about how you obtained consent. Or simply listen and remember, not all heritage must be photographed to be honored.
Let's unlock the echoes of history together. Thank you for sitting with us at the Tea House. Join us next time when we'll explore another small corner of Cambodia that holds large stories. Until then, drink something warm and remember, the beauty is in the details.
In the quiet of night, I whispered my plea, holding her close, hoping for her decree. I called upon spirits, asked them to guide, to take her heart and lead her by my side. So I drew her near, traced her brow so fair, my sight this way. Sacred power, swai, mighty spirit awakened. By the master's right, let her heart be gently taken. Let her follow me now by vow and by sign. I hear these words, oh teacher, witness this plea. Oh, my sacred power, swai.